Oh,
Yeah.
I think we might be live for week 10, baby. Are we
What
riding?
week is it? Are we live? We're riding.
Welcome back, Nick and Bean Pod, week 10 of the 2023 NFL season. It's good to be here, Rome. What's happening, brother? Nick, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. Half the season gone, half the season to go. We're over 500. Prop God is well over 500. Keep rocking with the Nick and B podcast. We're going to make some cash.
Let's do it. Rome, good to see you, brother. Everything is good with us. Hope all is well with you. Rod, what's happening? So we're going to do our sponsor read, of course, and then we've got an exciting thing because we're recapping our bets up to this point, our records for the entire season. All right. I went back through, I listened to the tape. I have myself, I have Nick's, and I have Prop God's record for the whole year. So here we go. As always, we're presented by Diet Smoke. Code Nick and Bean with an E on the end will get you 20% off. Please use it. Enjoy the products. Delta 8, Delta 9, THC, CBD, pens like Nick has, vapes, gummies, sodas, merch, everything you could ever want. It's delightful. It's not light. It's just right. It's fantastic. We both use it. Everyone uses it. It's fantastic. All right. Code Nick
This
and
is
Bean.
actually the legacy model.
Legacy model. There you go.
Model.
There's new models. They've got those. They've got the brand new stuff. They've got everything.
They're better than this one.
They're amazing. Code Nick and Bean, Diet Smoke. All right. So,
yeah,
I went back, Nick. I listened to every podcast we've done to make sure it was legit, and I've recapped our records for the season. Okay. I am the worst gambler on this show. Let me remind you, I started 2-7. All right. So recently I'm just prefacing this with recently. Recently I've been great. Okay. Recently I've been awesome. So for the season, I am 12-13-1, just a game under 500. Nick, you've been great lately as well. You're 12-10 on the season. And Prop God, who, just a reminder, I mean, we brought him to you guys, so credit to us, credit to him as well, because he's fantastic. He's 12-5, 7 games over 500 after a 2-0 week last week. I mean,
guess what? Though, we're taking credit for those wins too. We're adding him to our combined podcast total.
If you basically combine all 3 of our records, we're the best gamblers there are. I mean, it's just as simple as that. 12-13-1, 12-10, 12-5. That's your recap. It took me a lot of time to do that, and I just said it in 10 seconds, which makes me sad. But that's where we're at for the season.
It was important for the people. It was important for the people to know, get our credibility, our accountability.
You're so right. Check us. You are so right. Now, fantasy-wise, how was your week?
I think I went 2-2. I forgot to double check. I'm pretty sure I went 2-2 though. It was an abysmal week. A lot of buys, a lot of injuries. Like I have Justin Jefferson, I have Montgomery, a lot of stuff going on there.
You're getting through this. You're grinding through this middle part of the season.
I ended up getting high score in the tattoo league, so that's always a big win. Whenever I can get a win in either your league or the tattoo league, it's a good week. So
it's a good week.
2-2 on the league. Yeah.
All right. Update on my season. I lost one of my undefeated teams. Okay. It was pretty sad. I lost it to Kyle, my future brother-in-law. And I'm not going to say I maybe sat a few guys. I don't know. I'm not going to say that. But if other people want to, no, I'm kidding. I had no one to play. I played all my league, I played all my guys. Tyreek didn't kill it for me. Either way, he put up the most points in the league. Shout out to him. I'm 8-1 in that league. That was the downer for the week. Positive, I've still got 2 9-0 teams. I won most points in my league and in my biggest league, my most important league. And I can officially say through week 9 of the NFL season, I am in first place in 6 out of 6 leagues.
Which is nuts. That's like almost unheard of. I don't think I've heard of anyone being like, oh, I'm in first place in every single one of my leagues.
I'm going to keep being a good person. I'm going to keep making the right fantasy plays, and we're going to ride it throughout the whole season.
Keep doing that shit.
It was the one kid he screwed that he screwed me for a couple of years there. I had my 2 worst fantasy seasons ever, and then the second kid, I think it balanced things out in my head, and now we're back. All right, that's enough for the recap. Let's get in.
No one cares about our fantasy football teams anyways.
Let's get into impact players. All right, Nick, why don't you lead us off?
Yeah, I'm ready. I am fully ready to go. Impact player number 1 is not a player. It's actually a whole side of the ball. We got the Ravens defense, who's been ranked number 2 on defense overall, just behind the Cleveland Browns. We've got them. Oh, in fantasy football, we've got them scoring over 20 points 3 times, which I shut up.
They are the number 1 fantasy defense. They are the number 2, like you said, overall defense, but really they're the best defense as of late. Brendan, what's happening? Let's go. Pod God's in the house. We know what the people are here for. They're here for our bets, but we've got to give people the information. Let them know that we are watching these games, at least me, 100% of the games, you, 82% of the games. All right, so the Ravens only given up 20 points 3 times all season. Is that crazy? They've only given up 20 points 3 times all year. They're averaging 13.8 points per game against them and only given up 10 touchdowns total all year. They are incredible. Lamar's playing great. They are one of the best teams in the NFL. When we get to prop picks, well, I can say it now. I want to bring you back to a time when we did a preseason podcast, Nick. I gave out 2 Super Bowl bets, all right? 2.
Oh, wait, so you're talking about this year or what?
Do you remember? I gave out 2 Super Bowl bets.
This year. This year?
It was this year. I gave out the Philadelphia Eagles at 8.
You didn't give out the Ravens.
I did. Go listen. I gave out the Philadelphia Eagles at plus 880, and I gave out the Baltimore Ravens at 20-1. Currently, Eagles plus 500, Ravens plus 900. I will bet my entire life that I gave that out on the preseason podcast. I'm not lying. Prediction, I think this is a new listener. I mean, this is probably one of Nick's fans, of course. Prediction on the Pats' path to the Super Bowl. Well, Bill Belichick was strolling out of some girl's house this morning. I don't know if you guys saw the video, but he was taking the walk of the shame, shirt off, back to his car. I mean, he honestly, I think he might have been. He was either in Massachusetts or in Germany already. Go pull it up. I mean, this guy is a savage. If he can get a new quarterback, maybe they can win the Super Bowl with him banging out random girls. I mean, it's incredible. All right. Ravens defense, number 1. Number 2, Nick, this is the impact player, and I'm ready to admit something. CJ Stroud is better than Bryce Young, and it's not close, and it'll never be close for the rest of the time. The debate is over. I love you, Bryce, my sweet prince. You're a great guy, but you're not as good as CJ Stroud. 470 yards, 5 touchdowns. He's got this Houston team at 4-4, Nick. Nick, look up the video later, all right? You'll see Belichick.
I got the video. I already got the video. It's on Twitter. Sorry. Anyways.
All right. It's incredible.
Yeah.
He's got the Texans at 4-4. How good is CJ Stroud?
He's nasty. So I was a doubter early on in the season, like maybe 4 weeks in. I was like, oh, they played mediocre defenses, yada, yada, yada. They had a press conference, and he was like, I don't know if it was this week or last week. He's like, yeah, I've been feeling good, man. I think we want to throw the ball more. I think he had 40 pass attempts last week, something like that. And the more that he's throwing, the better he's looking. So I think he continues to trend in that direction, honestly. And I think they might have found them one in Houston.
Yep. He's fantastic. I shamelessly started him in a fantasy league. It was incredible. It was a 6-point passing touchdown. He had 100 points or so. It was great. All right. Baltimore D, CJ Stroud. Let's get to our resident aerospace engineer. He graduated from the University of Tennessee. He's played all over the league. He's played on every team already. All right. Yeah. He rolled in. He got traded to Minnesota on Monday or Tuesday. He rolled in. He didn't know any of the players. He didn't know any of the plays. He was teaching the center his snap cadence on the sideline. Kevin O'Connell is telling him where to throw the ball. He didn't know what he was doing. And what did he do? Guess what? Jaren Hall gets knocked out. Josh Dobbs comes in the first quarter. Prop God will tell you, what did we do when Josh Dobbs came in? He's shaking his head backstage. We live bet the Minnesota Vikings, and it saved my week. I hammered the Minnesota Vikings. Guess what? They won outright, of course, because Arthur Smith's a dodo bird, and because Josh Dobbs is good. I'll read you his stats. 158 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 66, and another touchdown on the ground. Great performance by him. You got anything else on Josh Dobbs?
Yeah. So what a turnaround for Josh Dobbs. He's at the Arizona Cardinals, and he's benched for a guy named Clayton Tune. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. So
I have.
so he's benched for Clayton Tune, and then he turns around and has a game like that. Honestly, like when you get benched for a guy like that in the league, it could be curtains for you.
Remember how I said Nick watches 82% of the games? This is part of the 18% that he didn't pick up. So I'll clarify. The reason he was benched for Clayton Tune was because they were going to trade him. He still played the last game he was with Arizona.
Because they got a little finagle in the bagel there.
Yeah, so they announced Clayton Tune was going to be the starter, and 24 hours later, it was announced Josh Dobbs is getting traded. So if he was still in Arizona, he would be the starter. We saw what happened with Clayton Tune. He is dog water, and Kyler Murray will be back this week. And all right,
that's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, yep. All right, last impact player. He's not a player either. Props to Antonio Pierce. He got the Raiders up against his old team, the Giants, and they smashed the Giants. I mean, the Giants are – I almost feel bad for them because you think about it, coming off last year, they get to the playoffs, they win a playoff game, and coming into the season, you're like, all right, the Giants are probably going to be pretty solid again. The NFC is not that good. And what happens? They're trash. They lose by 100 opening night to Dallas, and they're terrible. And now Daniel Jones tore his ACL, and they're back to square one. They're a terrible team.
Yeah, he came off of a neck injury for 2 or 3 weeks and comes back and tears his whole shit.
I feel bad for him.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. They're 17-point dogs this week to Dallas, a divisional game. You don't see that in the NFL very often. You don't. 17 points, like that's saying something.
That is saying something, and that'll wrap up impact players. CJ Stroud, Ravens defense, Josh Dobbs, Antonio Pierce. Great week for you four. Now, as much as Nick wanted Cowboys Giants to be a marquee matchup, it is not a marquee matchup, all right? Because the Giants suck. Now, first marquee matchup, we got some good ones this week. The Cleveland Browns, the number 1 ranked defense, travel to Baltimore, the number 2 ranked defense. Baltimore is up to -6.5. The over-under is 37.5. Give me your analysis, Nick.
I was locking in a bet. I was locking in a bet live.
Live pod bets.
So we got strength on strength. We've got that Spider-Man meme basically, but one of the Spider-Mans is on crystal meth. Solid defense. We got the number 1 defense versus number 2 defense. Then we've got Lamar Jackson versus Deshaun Watson. Both these teams want to run the ball. Both these teams are pretty good at running the ball. One of them down Nick Chubb. So boom, that's a little knock right there. The other one, they're down their running back, but each year it seems like, so J.K. Dobbins has had a terrible luck with the injury thing, and he's gone down a bunch the last couple of years, and they seem to just do what they do with any number of running backs: Keaton Mitchell, Justice Hill, Gus Edwards. It doesn't matter who you put back there. With Lamar Jackson, they're getting yards every game. Lamar is looking solid. The offense as healthy as can be, and I think they get it done. I bet this team -6. It's now out to -6.5. That's going to be a pod pick later. The Ravens.
I love to hear it. You just spoiled it for the people, but that's all right. If I'm betting, again, the Ravens burned me last week. I took the Seahawks. I am staying far away from this game. If I had to lean aside, it'd probably be the Browns, so that's good for your Ravens bet. All right.
Yeah.
Next game. Houston Texans and CJ Stroud traveling to Cincinnati. Cincinnati, same spread, -6.5. 10 more points on the over-under, though, 47.5. And I'll tell you what, Jamar Chase banged up. T. Higgins banged up as well. They're both going to play for sure. They'll both end up playing. But, who knows what's going to happen. I'm sensing a theme this week, Nick, and it scares me because there's too many easy teaser legs. And we kind of talked about this before the pod, but these 2 first games are screaming, tease me. Bengals -6.5, Ravens -6.5. What's going on here, Nick?
I don't think that's a bad thing. The teasers have done really well this year. The totals are down, so these points are valuable. Teasers are up, man. Teasers are up, and these are home favorites.
There's a reason. There's a reason why they do this, and I am very sketched this week. My radar is up. I will tell you this. Hold on 1 second.
So I think T. Higgins with the hamstring, I think that was precautionary. I think he's like close to 100%. Jamar Chase is banged up. I think the bet, if I were to bet something, I got to wait for it to come out, would be maybe Bengals first half, because I feel like they just try to run it up and make sure that Jamar Chase does not have to play like 50 snaps this game.
All right. I would lean the underdog in this game too. I don't know what's going to happen. This week's going to be one of two things. It's either going to be these favorites are just going to win every game, or it's going to be a bloodbath like it was a few weeks ago. But yeah, I mean, you look at them last week, they own the Bills. First of all, they match up with the Bills very well. They know how to scheme against Josh Allen. The Bills cannot stop them. They absolutely cannot stop Joe Burrow, since he is one of the best teams in the NFL right now. They're coming into form. They're all the way back to 5-4. They're the last team anyone wants to play right now. Okay. They look great. That's what I'll say about that game. I'm not betting that game either, but it's a great one. All right. Yeah. Another doozy, Nick. San Francisco 49ers traveling to Jacksonville. I got to get the updated line on this. I think, nope. Still -3.5 for the Niners. The over-under is 45.5. Debo's back. Trent Williams might be back. Have we confirmed that?
Yeah.
Confirmed?
No, so he didn't. He's not officially back. He was limited in practice, but I think he's trending in the right direction. Is what whispers are saying through the beat writers.
Got it. And if I'm not mistaken, San Francisco's lost 3 in a row. Is that correct?
Yeah,
I believe so. Fact check.
Are they coming off a bye? Off a bye?
They are coming off a bye. Either way, they were 5-0. They're 5-3. I believe they lost 3 in a row. I could be wrong. They might have won one, lost one in there, but I believe that's right.
Dangerous spot for Jacksonville.
This game is the toughest game on. This is the toughest game on the card, because Jacksonville looks great. They've won 5 in a row. They're the hottest team. San Francisco's lost a few in a row. Everyone is going to probably be taking, let's see, the hot team, you think? Or are they going to go with San Francisco and lay the points? I really think you're going to see a lot of money come in and bet the Jacksonville Jaguars getting 3.5, coming off a few wins. What do you think, Nick?
It's a lot of points to come in and bet the San Francisco on the road. They're going West Coast to East Coast, but I don't think it really counts like that because they're coming off the bye. Debo Samuel's back, like you said. There was this chart I was seeing earlier. It was like percentage wide receiver separation versus percentage of throws to open receivers. And Brock Purdy's like an outlier on the chart where I don't think his receivers are getting hella separation, and he's not throwing to very many contested throws. So
I'm looking right now. EJ, what's happening, bro? Yeah, we're going hatless tonight. We're embracing the hairlines. Let's go. My shit, I need to start taking something. I'm thinning out a little in the front. Now, I see the public is betting the 49ers, but all the big money, 70% of it has come in on the Jaguars, kind of like I thought. And this game
I'm staying away from the game is what I would say, but like 3.5 is a lot.
If anything, I would take the Jaguars and tease them up. Now, I will tell you this right now. Brock Purdy, I flip back. He may be a garbage man. He may not be in the NFL next year. I'll say it right now. Beginning of the season, I told you he was terrible. Then I told you he was good. I think I'm back to him being terrible. And I was listening to a podcast today, and Sin City. Yeah, what? Relax over there, brother. But I was listening to a podcast today, and someone said that if Tua and Brock Purdy switch places, the offenses on both teams would be the same. And that is the most ridiculous comment in the history of sports talk, all right? Tua is a great quarterback if he can stay healthy. Brock Purdy is a fucking game manager who can barely hit. He does not anticipate. He does not throw into tight spaces. He does not know the game of football. All he does is dump it off to Kittle and Debo, all right? Tua leads the league in air yards. He's such on a different level than Purdy. Now, obviously, take the concussion stuff into play, because if he gets fucking knocked out, he gets knocked out. But skill-wise, he's a million times better. Sin City, you're waiting on us to talk about the overrated Dolphins. Well, we're on a bye this week. You know, we lost to the Chiefs. We easily could have won that game. We're still 6-3. We're first in the AFC East. I don't think we're overrated. What do you think, Nick?
I don't think we're overrated. We're rated number one offense in basically every statistic. I will say though that there might be something too. We haven't had that step up win where we're like, okay, this team might be better than you guys. This team is one of the best teams in the league. Go out there and beat them, because that's what you need to do if you want to win a Super Bowl or something like that. We haven't done that, but we're 6-3. There's no reason to hit the panic button. It's a good team, and I don't think that coming into the season, it was not like the outlook on this team was Super Bowl or bust or something. It wasn't like, oh, is this the year the Dolphins win the Super Bowl? You know what I mean? So I think they go into the playoffs. If they get a playoff win, I think that's still a successful season for this team. I'm not saying
here's what happens on ESPN these days in sports media. We win 3 games to start the year. They crown us. The Dolphins are the best offense ever. Tua's the MVP, yada, yada, yada. We're not saying that. That's the ESPN. That's Stephen A. Smith losing his fucking mind. Then we lose a couple games. I mean, what did we lose? 21-14 to the Chiefs? Our defense actually looked good. We're not saying we're the best team in the fucking
Chiefs
NFL.
The Chiefs offense scored 14 points. You take away that Tyreek fumble 6, the game looks a little different.
Exactly.
Tua did crumble at the end. Tua crumbled at the end. He had 4 chances.
I want to hear from Sin City in the chat. If any other team is on the other side of the game, that Tyreek fumble, which go watch the play, he never even caught the ball. It was not a fumble. They didn't review it. It was a scoring play. They did not review it. If any other team is on the other side besides the Chiefs, Sin City could know this. What happened last year in the AFC title game? They fucking frauded the Bengals out of that game. The Chiefs should have never won that game. It was the worst refereed game in the history of the NFL. I'll stand by that. They let Mahomes replay a third down when he didn't get it. They let him replay the entire down. Never happened before. Bengals should have won that game. The Tyreek play should not have been a fumble. We should have got a field goal before the half. Either way, it's in the past. The Finns, we are a really good team. We're not an elite team. I would put the Bengals above us. I would put the Chiefs above us. And I'd probably put the Eagles above us as well. So let's see if we can get to the playoffs. Let's continue to get that defense better. But yeah, we got to win a big game. We haven't won a big game. Big deal.
We got to win a big game.
You're talking to 2 guys who fucking grew up with Jay Fiedler and these dog water quarterbacks who were terrible. This is all good for us right now.
This is all good, but I don't know if I'd put the Bengals ahead of us. Don't gas it.
All right, I probably would. All right, next game. New Orleans laying 2.5 at Minnesota. We just talked about Josh Dobbs. Over-unders 41.5. Saints defense obviously really good. Alvin Kamara, great player. Derek Carr as a favorite, probably not. We don't make excuses in Cincinnati. I don't think they've ever won anything.
They haven't. I don't think they have.
They haven't. Okay, that's what I thought. All right. I don't think they've ever even won a chance. Nothing.
They might have.
I don't know though. I don't know. Maybe they've won something. Definitely. I don't think they've won. They haven't won a Super Bowl. I'd have to fact check. No. Oh, okay. All right. Pipe down then. So, Saints defense is good. Kamara's good. It'd be tough to bet against this Josh Dobbs magic right now, though. What do you think?
Josh Dobbs. I feel like the tape isn't really out on him. He did play. He got some burn in Cincinnati. The tape probably is out on him. I think Cincinnati has their way. Not Cincinnati. I think I'm stuck on Cincinnati. I think New Orleans has their way. Their defense is tight. Minnesota is not whole. Way too much in continuity on that team right now. They might have that shocker, like, wow, like da-da-da-da. They're putting magic together. I don't think magic like that can run for very long. Saints hold them. I don't believe the total's very high on that team or on that game. Maybe UT's Minnesota, but I think the variance is too high to even bet on Minnesota right now.
Got it. All right. Last game on the slate for our marquee matchups. I will give my analysis during the pod picks because I do have this game. We got Detroit Lions laying 3.5 at LA, which is really not anywhere because they don't have any fans. Give me your thoughts on this game. Over under is one of the biggest. I think it's the biggest of the week, 48.5. EJ, I know. We got to talk to Randy again. The Shaw fade of the week. You know what happened, EJ? The problem was his pick started winning, so we had to just cut him off. He had went through a phase where everything he picked lost, but I think he got so in his head that they started winning. But I will look into getting that back. Give me your thoughts on this game, Nick.
So Detroit is fully healthy. I think they're getting the guard back. I don't know his name, like Connor or something or other. Montgomery is back. Jahmyr Gibbs is coming off that big game. I think that game was fluky, kind of outlier. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is a good player, but I think they can use Montgomery in that backfield to steady that thing. Chargers defense.
Wait, hold on. Do you possibly have David Montgomery in like 2 of your fantasy teams?
On one.
Okay, all right. So is that affecting your thoughts of settling down and giving Montgomery the ball more?
Get Montgomery. He's steady. 2 yards at a chunk.
2 yards exactly.
2 yards
Gibbs is coming off. Gibbs had 200 total yards.
Feed him, baby. Just keep feeding him.
Too funny.
Anyways,
you got a side in this game?
So I like Detroit at -2, but it's out to -3 right now. So I guess I keep my eye on it if it goes back down. 3.5. Okay, 3.5. I can't do 3.5. If it's 2.5, I like it. I love it. I can't do either. Then stay away from me.
Marquee matchups are done. We've gotten a little out of hand here. Sin City, he's rattling us a little. I'm not going to say we're rattled, but he may rattle us a little. He's got us off the rails. Dolphins have a good team for the first time in 100 years. Can we be happy a little bit? All right. Bring in the person who gives us even more happiness than the Dolphins. And that's the best gambler on planet Earth, Andrew Biedick, also known as the Prop God, also known as Mr. 12-5. How you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling great. Listening backstage, I was thinking, and I wanted to do things a little bit differently this week because I'm taking notes during the podcast of I got to respond to this. I got to respond to that. So
this is juicy.
I just jotted some notes on my phone that
I'll
go through with you guys. Okay. So first thing on the list is shame on you being for your
Brock Purdy, of course. Okay. Give it to me.
Brock Purdy is a legend. All right. And when we look at Super Bowl teams, I feel like they always have this little stretch randomly in the middle of the year where they lose a few games in a row or something, the fatigue wears in before the bye, and then they get hot riding into the playoffs. So for me,
possibly,
I think the Niners are at that point where this is their low. They've been through the adversity. They've been through the trenches, and they're going back up,
Did they lose 3 in a row? Was that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Lane. Oh, Nick. EJ's asking if we could talk about college football. We're going to put that on the back burner. He says Lane is here to make the people money. Georgia's probably going to beat them by 50, EJ. This is the classic game where Georgia just shits down Ole Miss's throat. I believe the line is 10.5, but I will say also I don't follow college like I do the pros. Back to schedule. Keep going, Biedick.
No, same. Ole Miss, isn't their QB Jackson Dart? Is that the Ole Miss QB?
Yes.
Because that's just the most badass name for a quarterback possible.
It works.
It works. I see
it's
that
a pretty good name.
I like betting on this team, but yeah, college isn't my thing. I follow it, but not on the podcast for me. Okay. Second thing here is I would love to go back to the overall records. As a team, as being said, we're hitting 60%, 65%.
Incredible.
Yeah, but I really think the podcast is at its best when we have Bean and Nick kind of going at each other a little bit. We've got Nick claiming that he has this record. We've got Bean jabbing at him. There's no way. So I'd like to just throw out a question for the listeners. Respond on Instagram, respond in the chat. I want to know who's going to have a better rest of the season, Nick or Bean. All right, let's hear what people have to say, and let's get the results.
All right.
Can we make a poll? We might be able to make a poll.
Yeah, let's figure. Yeah,
we'll make one on Instagram. We'll make a poll on Instagram and put it on our story.
Would love to hear it. All right. Last thing, we'll get into prop picks. I promise. Okay, Josh Dobbs. This guy was a jag. He was just another guy. Never liked him, and he went to Arizona. And watching him, and it was like, who is this guy? They were losing games, but like he was playing well and he was playing hard, and he impressed me and Bean. So again, as Bean mentioned during that game last week where he came in, he's on the sideline with the offensive linemen doing the snap cadences, making sure they're all on the same page. But I'm going to say this is a guy I've completely changed my mind on this year. The tape is out, and we're buying Josh Dobbs.
Love it. I am in total agreement. And what I'm in even more agreement of is you going 2-0 last week. You're 12-5. And the most impressive part about the 2-0 is that we stayed away from Brandon Aubrey, and Brandon Aubrey didn't hit. So nobody knows Brandon Aubrey better than his wife, number one, and prop god, number two. And I am excited to hear, I think you have 3 or 4 more picks this week. And I think you said they were all kicking picks. Is that correct?
Yeah, like we're doing so well on these kicking props. Like it's all I looked at this week. Like how could we not, And yeah, we stayed away from Aubrey. We stayed away from Bucker, one of our guys. He didn't hit one. We stayed away from Jason Myers. He didn't hit either. Like, we're staying away from the guys when they don't hit, and we're taking guys when they do. And we took Dustin Hopkins. We've never taken him. We took Younghoe Koo. He's never been a prop pick, I don't think.
Younghoe Koo hit in the first quarter, I believe. It was
both of them first half. It
was incredible.
Yeah, we were so pumped watching. So let's get into it. I'm gonna start with the obvious one here. We're back to Brandon Aubrey.
Got it.
Let's go. 19 for 19 on the year. He has hit 6 of 8 games where he's hit over 1.5 field goal. So he's hit 2 field goals in 6 out of 8 games this year. And both times he missed, we didn't take him. So the first prop of the week is Brandon Aubrey over 1.5 field goals. This should be a familiar.
Enough said, boys.
Yeah.
Ride.
They're favored by like 13. The Cowboys are playing at home.
17.
Yeah, at home versus the Giants. Like he may have 6 field goals this game. So that's prop pick number 1. Okay. Prop pick number 2, which
can I guess this?
Yeah, go for it.
Jason Myers.
He was going to be number 3, but the order doesn't matter. Yeah.
Make him number 2, baby.
Jason Myers, the Seahawks are playing the Commanders. Jason Myers over 1.5 field goals.
Love it.
He's made 12 of his last 13. The Commanders give up like the 3rd or 4th most field goals in the league against opposing kickers. And we have the Hard Rock app now. We can look at odds already. He's plus 105. So,
oh my God.
Yeah, get on that. I want to say this. This is one disclaimer on Myers, okay? We're doing this on a Thursday. We can't predict the weather on Sunday, and it's possible rain in that game. Sunday, when you guys wake up, go on, check out the weather, and if we're seeing torrential downpour, you guys have benefit to stay. The 3 of us, we're in right now. We're committing on the podcast.
Oh,
but for the listeners, wait till Sunday on that one and just make sure, it's not a hurricane or something in Seattle.
Aubrey, Myers. Give us number 3.
Number 3, we haven't really taken this guy this year because he's missed a couple. But our favorite opera singer, our favorite piano player, our favorite, what is he, an engineer or something?
I don't think so, but a Renaissance man.
A Renaissance man. We're taking Justin Tucker over 1.5 field goals. Okay.
That I will tell everyone right now. If you have some equity in your home, if you have an account with some money in it, you made some money on some stocks, withdraw it. Put it into the Hard Rock app. No, I'm kidding. I'm lying. Keep going, Peter.
No, I'm kind of with you.
On that.
Yeah, it's it's minus 120 on Hard Rock.
That's fair. It should be. It should be.
He's attempted 3 field goals the last 4 times they've played the Browns. And 14 of the last 18 matchups against the Browns, he's attempted 3 field goals. So he's not missing anymore. He had a little bit of a slump. He's back. The weather is great in Baltimore. So Justin Tucker over 1.5 field goals. That is going to be the third one. All right. And the last pick of the week is going to be Chris Boswell, the Steelers kicker. The Boz, okay?
The Boz.
They're playing the Packers in Pittsburgh, and we're taking him over 1.5 field goals, okay?
So why the Boz?
Why the Boz?
He's great.
He has attempted 2 field goals in 9 of his last 11 games, okay? How are we getting these, even payouts on these bets where these kickers are consistently hitting this? Again, 9 out of his last 11. I just don't get it. So
you would think they would adjust the line.
Yeah, and maybe he's missing kicks, right? He's made 14 of his last 15 kicks.
He's been great. He's been really good.
Yeah, the Packers give up the 6th most field goals in the league to opposing kickers. And I expect the Steelers to be up in this game, winning this game. I'm out on the Packers, but I think their red zone defense is good. So Chris Boswell over 1.5 field goals. That is the 4th prop god pick of the week.
We're
12-5. 12-5. 2-0 last week. 2-0 the week before. 2-0 the week before that. 12-5, if I didn't mention that. I mean, nobody's 12-5. Nobody bets that good. Brandon Aubrey, Justin Tucker, Jason Myers, and Chris Boswell over 1.5. We appreciate you, brother. We love you, and we'll see you next week.
Love you guys. See you guys next week.
All right, Nick. People are talking. Who's going to be the better? Me, you. Well, smart minds, smart money, sharp money would be on me. The public would probably be on you. So we'll see how that goes. Now, pod picks, baby. First one. Let's get right into it.
Yeah.
I don't know if what I did was, obviously I'm looking at the money. Where's the money going? All right. Everyone is betting Detroit. I don't think the Chargers are going to win this game, but they always lose these games by a field goal at the end. So I'm going to take the 3.5 points with Justin Herbert, who always chokes in crunch time. But I'm going to take the 3.5 points. They'll be down by 3 with 1.5 minutes left. Herbert back to pass, interception. Game over. We cover. They lose. Give me your first pod pick.
We've seen that story too many times. So the first one I gave away a little hint earlier.
Yes, you did.
Ravens minus 6.5. I expect them to handle the Browns. The total in that game isn't very high. I think they handle it.
I love that.
Gave my reason.
Because I love it because I don't love it. I think the Browns are the play, so the Ravens will probably be the play. Second bet of the week. This one is one of the most public games of the week. Everyone is betting it. Minus 6.5 for the Seattle Seahawks. Geno Smith, not the best year, but still pretty good. Washington traded away players. They look like crap. But what did they do last week? They beat the Patriots. They're still playing football. 90% of the money right now is sitting on the Seattle Seahawks. Give me the hold your nose, close your eyes, don't watch the game, play of the week. Washington Commanders Redskins football team plus 6.5. That's the play.
Nice.
You hate it, but remember, if these bets aren't making you guys uncomfortable, they're probably not going to win. Go ahead, Nick.
My next one is a teaser. So we've got the Raiders up against the New York Jets. The Raiders defense, I'm sorry, not the Raiders defense. The Raiders defense is not good. The Jets defense is not good. But guess what? The Jets offense is not good. And the Raiders offense is actually pretty solid. So I like them teased up to +6. And I paired that with the Bengals. I believe they have an easy matchup against the Texans defense, especially if T. Higgins and Jamar Chase go. I don't think the Houston Texans can match up with them. The Texans offense will continue to probably have success, but that's why you protect that with a teaser to -1, -1.5, something like that. So Bengals.
No, you're actually
Raiders.
so you're actually gonna get +6.5 with the Raiders, and you're gonna get -0.5 with the Bengals. So it's just to win the game.
Work. I love it.
So just so everyone knows, these are going to be the legs this week. The Bengals, the Bills, the Ravens, and the Seahawks. Everyone's going to be teasing them. Just a warning. Be careful because one or two of those is probably going to lose. Now, my last bet of the week is my favorite bet, okay? This bet is going to hit. I can feel it in my bones, okay?
It's a guarantee.
Josh Allen, he's going to score a lot of points this Monday night. He is going to come back. He's going to show everyone that the Bills are for real. Over 27.5 points for the Buffalo Bills at home against the Broncos. Okay? 28 points. They will score. They always score that many points. Maybe not last week, but they always score points. They're going to score 28 points. That is my best bet of the week. My 3 are Washington plus the points, the Bills over the team total, and the Chargers plus the points. Go ahead, Nick.
I like it. No, that was my last bet, that teaser leg.
Okay, perfect. 5 bets total, +4 from the prop god. Let's get to the fantasy corner. Now, good news for the people. Nick did win FanDuel last week. He had a great week. He put up 130 points, and we are 7-2 on the year now, and it's making it I'm proud of you. I'm really proud of you. Give me your roster.
My roster is right. Yeah, I'll celebrate. My roster is right here. So I've got Jared Goff. I expect him to have success against that Chargers defense. Tony Pollard, who I expect to have great success against the Giants defense. Keaton Mitchell, I picked up for the low. Not sure. He had a midweek injury, but we'll see. He should be good. Amon-Ra St. Brown stacked with Goff. Jordan Addison in mini. Zay Flowers, Baltimore, I like to kill. Sam Laporta, the tight end slot, playing against the Chargers defense, stacked with my quarterback, TJ Hawkinson, and Green Bay Packers. So, yeah, I think Minnesota has good offensive production, and those guys are going to get funneled a lot of the balls based off their injuries.
All right. And you know what? We should have really led the show with this, but good news to Florida. The Hard Rock sports betting app is back. In-person gambling will be live at the Hard Rock. They already have the sports book set up December 10th, I believe, or 11th. Along with that, there's going to be live roulette and live craps going in. It is just a day to celebrate. Now, my FanDuel team. He didn't write back. He may have forgotten to write this season, but Geno Smith against Washington. 2 running backs. I got some Washington. Kenneth Walker, Aaron Jones. Receivers, CeeDee Lamb, T. Higgins, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. I got Sam Laporta as well at the tight end. Jaylen Warren in the flex. And I spent up because I think they're going to score some points. But Cowboys defense at 5,200 against the Giants. I think that they probably got to put up 20 points to be good, but I think they can do it. EJ, that is correct. Live roulette going in. Hollywood Hard Rock. The Guitar Hotel is going to have it, and live craps. It's going to be fucking incredible. It's a month away. And the sports book, they have this huge sports bar that they made right now. They've got blackjack tables in it. They're pulling out the tables, and they're putting in a legit sports book. It is an incredible day. Nick, great podcast. We went a little off the rails there with Sin City. You know, Joe Burrow. When you have Joe Burrow, you just say anything because he backs you up. But great podcast. We're going to look to continue our winning ways. We'll see everyone next week. Peace out.
Peace.